Good morning, everybody. This is James, and we are here to talk about the YouTube 2020 Terms of Service Change update. I'm joined by my friend Adrienne from Farmstead Smith. If you look at the pinned comment, I have a link to her channel as well, so y'all can check it out. And if you like bees, donkeys, and chickens, she's the channel for you. She's got a great channel. She's really blowing up on YouTube. And we're going to be chatting about the new terms of service updates that have been going crazy over the last 2 days right here on YouTube. So how you doing, Adrienne?
I'm good. How are you this morning, James?
We are doing fantastic. We're having a great day. I've been, going to Nick Nimmons live right now still. He's been on for like 3 hours taking questions from people. Daniel Batal and he invited Roberto Blake to come in. They went live for a couple of hours, all talking about this new change. So I've been all over the web since last night and this morning, just diving into what's going on with this new terms of service change and trying to really find out how it's going to affect small channels like us going forward. I want to go ahead and greet some people coming in. So Yomi, hello Yomi. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you're having a great day. I'm here. Yay. I love it when I show up for my own live streams. Yeah. Wonderland Acres. Hello, hello, hello. I know you came from Adrienne's group, so thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you joining us. And if y'all know some people that are small channels, hello, Lynn. This is Pearl Nini, Ms. Lynn. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're having a great day. If you do know some other channels and you have people that are interested in understanding this new terms of service update, feel free to share the stream out and let people know what we're chatting about today. I was actually quite surprised, and we'll talk about it in later videos, but I put out a video last night about the terms of service change. In less than 12 hours, it's the most popular video on my channel. This is such a popular topic right now. It's such a hot topic that a lot of people are really, really wanting to dive into understanding it. So I thought we would go live today, chat with some people, and just answer some questions and try to ease some people's fears. That's my biggest thing, is I want to ease people's fears about what's going on and kind of get you an understanding of the mindset, because these kind of changes happen all the time and people panic, but the panic is mostly people just taking things out of context. So I know you have some questions. I still got questions, guys. I don't know it all. I'm still learning about this every day.
I took the time this morning to watch a few videos. I watched Roberto Blake's last night. I watched vidIQ's video about it, and I watched Brian G. Johnson's video about it this morning. So we got a lot of information, and I don't think it's as bad as what people are being afraid of.
Yeah. That's the thing. These kind of changes happen all the time. I was in, and a lot of people don't know, I started in online content development in 2008. I was in the middle of content development, and I was blogging and teaching blogging. I was even coaching and consulting in 2012, when anybody that was around that long ago, most of you may not have been, but Google came out with what they called the Penguin and Panda updates, which completely changed how Google search worked. And it decimated thousands of websites, and everybody was saying Google search is dead. You'll never be able to rank in Google again. It's only going to be these huge authority sites that ever rank in Google that have millions of followers already. And that wound up not being the case. I mean, I still see, my channel right here. And then you can also leverage the authority sites. YouTube was considered an authority site with that update. And guess what? I've got videos that are ranking on YouTube that never ranked before that are now getting traffic from Google search. So you have to be, the number one skill I think you have to have in order to be successful on YouTube is adaptability, because things are going to change. This isn't just YouTube, it's anything of online content. The market, the way things work is constantly changing, and you have to be adaptable to those changes in order to survive. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff today, and we're going to talk about some things Some of them I know are things that you have been interested in. We've chatted about it in some of the groups. So, first of all, what kind of questions do you have about what's going on right now?
Me or them?
Huh?
Me or them?
You,
Oh, okay.
Adrienne.
So just making sure we weren't waiting for questions from the chat. I think today, like the only concern that I really have, I'm not hugely concerned because I'm not surprised that this has happened. YouTube is a business first; they want to
Hmm.
make money. Um, my only concern, I guess, would be what kind of ads are they going to put on my content? Um,
Yeah.
what type of ads in the way of, is it going to be skippable, is it going to be non-skippable, and how many ads are they going to put on my tiny channel? Is that going to take away from my possible viewers sticking around onto my videos? Because i think I think that's going to be the hardest part for us little creators, is because we're just going to have to make good stuff that's going to make people want to stay through however long those ads are going to be.
Yeah. That's one of the big concerns that a lot of people are asking. And you and I were chatting about this before we came on in the Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to say it for the viewers. Remember that YouTube's number one priority, and they say this all the time, YouTube's number one priority is the viewer experience. And I don't personally think that they're going to make a change that destroys the viewer experience. And that's one of the biggest concerns is what's the viewer
Yeah.
experience going to be like as a creator, and especially a small channel, because you got the big channels that are getting thousands of views on a video. They lose a few views due to an ad. It's not going to hurt their channel. But when we're small, you know, my views, I
Yeah.
get like 20, 30 views on a video as a brand new channel on this channel.
Right.
If I lose 5 or 10 viewers, that's a huge percentage of my viewership.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, these other channels that lose, they could lose 100 views and it's not going to even blip on their radar.
Right.
But
I don't
here's,
think
and
it's a
I,
huge concern.
I agree with what you said. I think it's going to make creators step up. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to either step up or step out, because if they put those ads on your videos and it's already a bad video. And then I know one of the questions a lot of people are asking is how many of those ads are they putting? Is it just going to be a beginning ad, or is it going to be ads in the middle of your content? Because some contents don't really do well with ads in the middle. Meditation videos, it's something that's, you might have an ad in the very beginning, but you don't want interruption ads in that kind of content.
Right.
ASMR content, they're not going to want ads interrupting their ASMR stuff.
I mean, one thing to remember for sure is that, you know, like you said, YouTube wants the viewer experience to continue to be positive. And also, the thing to remember is if they don't think your content is going to make them money, they're probably not going to put ads on it.
Yeah. And here's something else. I said this in last night's video. I was a little abrasive in last night's video. I apologize for that. That's part of why I wanted to go live today. I didn't want people to think you know, I'm concerned with it or that I'm against people's feelings about it. My thing is YouTube has been doing this for 2 years that I know of, because I saw ads on non-monetized channels 2 years ago. I've had it on my own channel, and this is something I've seen on my Storage Scavenger channel almost 8, 9, 10 months ago. I saw videos and I had viewers commenting on it, so I know people were seeing it. Some viewers were seeing ads on my videos and some weren't. And I think what YouTube's been doing is they're testing viewer experience on ads. So they're having particular videos that they'll show the ads to some viewers and they'll show no ads to some viewers on the same video and see where the difference in the response is. They've already been testing this. We always talk about split testing thumbnails, split testing different titles, split testing. YouTube split testing this on our content without us even
Exactly.
knowing that they were doing it.
Yes. It's totally
So
right. I think,
it's
yeah, go ahead.
so one of the points I tried to make, this is not a change to YouTube. It's a change to their terms of service, saying that they have the right to do something they're already doing.
Right. One thing, when I was watching Brian G. Johnson's video, and what I see a lot of different people saying is like, are they taking advantage of small creators? And I don't think they are necessarily, because we don't have to be here. And like I said earlier, YouTube is a business. We need to adapt to what they're changing to. But like, as far as taking advantage of, we have to remember that YouTube is storing data of hundreds and thousands and millions of videos for the last 15 years. This is a lot of data to store. I mean, I live in an area where Google and Facebook are putting in data centers, and they're building new ones all the time. Can you imagine how much it costs to store this data? Because it's an incredible amount. It's not even fathomable. They have to build buildings, they have to hire employees, they have to build servers and the data centers themselves, and they're keeping videos up from the last 15 years. This is a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They're spending a ton of money. So I'm surprised they didn't do this sooner.
I mean, I showed a video that I had from a channel that I haven't logged into in 8 years that has over 25,000 views, another one that has over 15,000 views that are still getting traffic now. And those videos were published in 2010. Exactly. So they're still serving videos from that long ago. They're not just hosting videos, they're still sharing those videos out. And I haven't paid a dime for them sharing that video with other people.
Right.
I mean, it's one, you look at YouTube as a long-term platform, not a short-term what's in it today. Look at the long term of what's going to happen with your channel. And then it's also just focusing on, am I doing enough to keep those viewers engaged? Am I doing enough? Was my title, you're going to get that ad pop right at the beginning. Was that thumbnail and title compelling enough to make people sit through that ad?
Right.
And you're going to have to be able to do that when you get to monetization anyway. So if you start small, the earlier you start doing that, the better you're going to get at that skill. That's the way I look at it, is, because the number one thing is, and I don't know if people saw my video from yesterday, I'll tell you right now, I looked at the stats right before we came live, 19.5% click-through rate on that thumbnail.
Wow.
And I have over 400 impressions. Less than 12 hours ago, I published that content. I published it right around midnight. And in less than 12 hours, over 400 impressions and a 19% click-through rate. That's phenomenal, especially on this small of a channel. Mm-hmm. That is phenomenal results. And I spent more time making that thumbnail, as simple as it is, than I did making the video. From recording it, editing it, publishing it, I actually spent more time creating the thumbnail than everything else, because I knew this was a hot topic and I knew it was something that was going to drive a lot of traffic if I did it right. And if I missed it, I was going to lose a huge opportunity for my channel.
Right.
That's what you've got to focus on if you're going to have these ads. If you don't know if these ads, because for all I know, there could be ads showing on that video that started yesterday. So I had to make sure it was compelling enough that people would be willing to sit through a non-clickable ad, because that's one of the questions you brought up. And it's one of the questions a lot of people are asking, and YouTube hasn't answered it. Are these ads going to be skippable or not? I can tell you from my own experience, the ones I've seen have been skippable, but that doesn't mean that's all they're serving.
Right. And there's no way to know, because they're still testing it.
They're testing.
Gonna maybe come out with some sort of like, oh, we're going to do this, but not this, because we noticed that this makes people leave. They really, I mean, like I said earlier, if we think logically, YouTube is only going to put ads on videos they think will make them money. And they also said some ads on some videos. So you may not even come across this problem.
Yep. There may be channels that never see an ad pop up on their channel. There may be video channels that have ads on almost all their videos. I think some of it's going to depend on the keywords you're targeting, the quality of your content, what's your audience retention like. YouTube is looking at this kind of stuff to determine whether or not to put ads on your channel. So you may never even see video ads on your channel, or you may not see them till you get to 500 subscribers, 600 subscribers. You start getting enough views to make it worth their time. If you've got a video that's only bringing in 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 views, it's not worth their effort to put ads on that video. They're not making any money if you're not getting any views on that video. It's going to be videos that are driving views. And this is something I brought up in last night. The videos that I've seen, even on my own channels, are the ones that are driving the most views, the ones that are driving the most traffic. Those are the ones that are getting ads on them. The ones that are ranking in search and bringing in steady traffic, those are the ones that are seeing those ads, not the ones that are not getting any traffic, not the ones that aren't gaining any views. Exactly. This is what I've experienced just from what I've observed, seeing it as it's been tested, not only on my own channel, but I've seen it on other channels. And this gives them the opportunity. This is actually one of the concerns, because you have those breakout channels that don't meet monetization, but they have that breakout video that gets millions of views. Is YouTube putting ads on that and then robbing them of all of that ad revenue that they could be making on a viral video? But you also have to look at the balance. And this is a key point Roberto Blake made. And I was already thinking this way myself anyway. It's the way I always think about monetization. If for most small channels, first of all, and this is kind of a key point that Roberto didn't make, but it's a mindset I've seen. Most small channels overestimate how much money they're going to make when they meet monetization. Definitely. They think, oh, I'm going to meet monetization and quit my job. Not going to happen. If you're lucky, when you just hit the minimum requirements, you'll be making like maybe $100 a month. Maybe when you're at that minimum threshold. If you're lucky, if you get a really good CPM. But it's actually one of the questions that a lot of people are asking is I'm talking about reaching the monetization threshold. I know some of the people that watch my channel are already at monetization. So for those of us that are small, the questions are about how the viewer experience is going to be affected by all of a sudden having these ads show up, which is something you're going to have to deal with when you monetize anyway, by the way. But the other question is, for those that are monetized, is it going to lower your CPM? Is it going to affect your ad rate and ad revenue?
Let me interrupt you real quick, just for people who may not know or may not be that into learning about YouTube. Let's go over what CPM means, and it means cost per milli, and that's going to be the revenue that you might make. And this is estimated revenue. It's not exactly what you're going to make. It's going to be the estimated revenue that you make per 1,000 views on that video.
Yeah, that's an important distinction to understand, that you have the cost per mil, which really determines, and honestly, the CPM is based on what the advertiser is paying YouTube, not what YouTube is paying the partner. But will those costs change based on these changes to more ads showing up? Because the way that works, I don't know anybody that's been on the other side, because I've been on the other side of that ad revenue, because when I was doing blogging, I was doing websites, I actually did paid advertising to some of my content. And so I've experienced that. It's working off the Google AdWords system, and the Google AdSense system is what they use for the partner program. Okay, so basically that works for a lot of my people are resellers and in the auction community, so you'll understand this. The AdWords and the ad system works on the auction system. So people bid to have their ads placed on these videos, and the highest bid gets the ad placements. This is something to understand, because the higher bids don't necessarily get all the ad placements, but the higher you bid, the more your ads are going to show up, versus the ones that put a lower bid. Then they'll still show up, but maybe they won't be the first ad that shows up. They'll be the ones that show up in the mid rolls. So those advertisers that are paying more are the ones. So this is why keywords are so important. And by the way, this is the place where tags are important. Tags don't matter to your search rankings, they matter to the advertisements that are going to show up on your channel, because that's what they bid on, is what keywords they're going to be placed on in when people search. That's how they determine what ads show up on your channel, is the keywords that the advertiser puts in, and they have to be vetted and approved for those ads before they get shown. So they're going to make sure they're not keyword stuffing. They're going to make sure they're not targeting keywords that they're not relevant to. Like my videos, I've seen them showing up. So some of these ads are going to be user based on, okay, what do you use as a user? But some of them are going to be keyword based on the tags and the keywords you have in your channel. This is why keyword research is so important, not just from a perspective as a YouTuber, but also even now with this new change, as small YouTubers, we have to pay attention to the keywords we're using on our channels, because that's what's going to determine the ads that show up on our content that we have no control over.
I think the one concern that is, and it may not have to do with keywords at all, especially in a time when we're going through political stuff, is that, because I think those can show up on anything. And that's one concern I have, is like, what kind of ads are they going to do? Because once you're monetized, you can decide what you don't want as far as ads that come on. So you could be like, I don't want political ads on my channel. It's not what I do. But I don't believe that we're going to be able to choose at this point.
Yeah, that's one of the big concerns, and that's one of the things that you don't have that control. That's one of the big concerns that a lot of people have, is how can I control, and especially the political ads. You might have political ads showing up that are a different belief than what you even talk about on your channel, that are going to be counter to what you share on your channel. And there's a lot of concern about that kind of stuff showing up on people's channels. And unfortunately, you're right. This is why there's going to be more of a push, I think, to push channels. I think this is kind of YouTube trying to push channels to work harder to get into the partner program faster. And this is where we've talked about in the private chat, and you mentioned it earlier. I think it's going to push smaller channels to improve their content so that they can get in the partner program faster and easier. I don't think it's going to destroy channels, but I think it's going to hurt channels that aren't working at doing things the right way, and it's going to push channels that are trying to work harder to get there.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense or not.
You make sense. I mean, YouTube has always been about doing things the right way, not, like, for example, not doing sub for sub, because that gets you nowhere. We want to make sure that people, are in tune with our channel. They want to be there. I mean, there's one benefit that we haven't really touched on, and it's not proven or anything, but it's possible that if you have a good video, YouTube is gonna put ads on it. They're gonna maybe push it further because they can make money from it. Because overall, YouTube is a tool, so it might make that new creators learn about their analytics better and be like, well, what's working for me and what's not, and then we're going to change and make it better, because you're not going to get anywhere in YouTube if you don't continually work on making your stuff better.
Yeah. And that's kind of a segue for me real quick, just to let y'all know. That was supposed to be the topic of tomorrow's live stream. Since I'm doing this one today, I'm probably not going to do it. Actually diving into analytics and understanding what we're reading. I'm going to do that live stream next week. So join me Friday at 9 a.m. next week. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and click the bell notification so you get that notification when we do that live. But that's actually one of the big mistakes that a lot of people make. There's a lot of people that look at their numbers and it's just numbers swimming in their head. They don't understand what the analytics mean. So we're going to try to bring some clarity to those analytics and showing what they mean. But you just made a very crucial point. People are going to have to understand their analytics, and people are going to have to understand that this is a point I made in the video last night, And it was actually a big part of the point I made in my video last night. Almost half the video was on this. YouTube is going to be pushing channels that they're putting these ads on because they're making money from those ads. They're already doing it. And I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I've seen it for years. YouTube pushes videos that have ads on them more. That's why it's easier for YouTube channels that have 1,000 subscribers. Some of this is skill, and they've gotten better at doing things and optimization and stuff to get to 1,000 subscribers. But a lot of it is YouTube pushes videos that have ads on it because they're making money off of those videos. Now, they do push your video some as a small creator that's under 1,000 subscribers. They want those channels to grow, so they will promote those videos some, but it's based on performance as well as videos that have ads do get more of a push. I've seen terrible videos. Thumbnails were terrible, titles were terrible, but they were monetized and they were getting a push over videos that were better optimized, better content, better thumbnails all the way around.
I want to address something there in the chat that people are maybe worried about YouTube removing the partner program and assuming that no one will work on content if they remove the partner program. I don't believe this is true because I don't believe it's true that no one will work on content because there's plenty of other ways that are more profitable than the YouTube ad or the Google AdSense partner program. You're going to make more money. And I mean, this is what all the, the big YouTubers say. They say, don't just rely on AdSense because you don't make that much money from it. You want to diversify your income. So that's why all these people say you should do affiliate programs. Maybe you should look into being sponsored by other companies and stuff. So I don't think that is going to happen. I don't think they'll remove the partner program because it's an incentive and it makes people work harder and it makes YouTube more money. And then
yes,
I don't think people will stop creating because there's other ways to make money outside of the partner program.
Some creators, every time there's a change, some creators will leave and go to a different platform, which is okay. And I recommend anyway, as a new creator, I really recommend focusing on one platform, learning that platform, figuring out how it works. But I do believe in diversification. I believe in multiple streams of income. I believe in diversifying and stretching out when you're completely and totally dependent, because I've seen changes. This is really kind of a minor change. This is just a change that's going to affect the content you put out. But this isn't a change like some of the other changes they've made that have completely deleted channels off the platform like Copa did last year. Hundreds, thousands of channels completely deleted off the platform because they weren't compliant with a rule in their past performance. And this is something I've seen happen time and time again. You don't ever want to be completely dependent on one platform. It's one of the things that I kind of brought up earlier, and one of the things I was headed into. One of the things you should be doing through your channel is diversifying by gathering your audience, not just right here on your channel. And I haven't done this yet for this channel. I'm actually already in the works to set it up. Email marketing, setting up that email list, getting people to sign up for your email list, because you control that list. And if you get wiped out on the platform, you can take that audience you have on your email list to another platform. Yeah. Whereas if you don't have that email list, they wipe out your channel, you're dead. You're out of business. Or you can take that email list, email your list, hey, look, I started this new content platform over here. Check me out over here, and we can work together and grow this platform. And you bring a huge following already established over to that new platform. Now, when you're a small channel, that's going to be a small following. As you build up, though, over time, this is something that's going to help you be able to make a shift if a major change happens on a platform that you can't deal with.
You always want to back up your stuff, and that, your audience.
Even for, I think we may have just lost her. Oh, you unfroze. There you go. A lot of people that, thank you, Marie. I saw that, by the way. I just worked on it. It should be fixing up here in just a minute.
Right. something I wanted to also touch on is remember that YouTube is a tool. You're just trying to share your stuff. I mean, you shouldn't rely on it. We should never rely on something owned by someone else, right? Additionally, how much do you think this is going to actually impact you once you're monetized? It's not going to have a huge impact because your work, well, theoretically, you're here because you want to build your YouTube channel, right? We're here on James's channel because we want to build. We are looking forward towards monetization. So you're already going to put ads on your channel. So this is a theory. But if YouTube starts putting ads on your tiny channel, it tells you maybe your content is good. Maybe it's going somewhere. Maybe, that gives you a little insight of like, oh, YouTube thinks I'm kind of cool.
That's kind of the way I'm looking at it, is YouTube's only putting content or ads on content that meets certain requirements in their performance. So if you're meeting that performance, that's a good signal. I think it's a good sign that YouTube's saying your video is so good, we think it's worth monetizing, even though you're not in the partner program. That's a good signal to the kind of content you're creating, to the way you're engaging your audience, the way you're building and growing your channel. I would expect to see ads showing up on your videos because of how much you're blowing up, because of how much your subscriber count's going up. In 2 months, in 3 months, you've done more than a lot of people have done in 8 months, a year, 2 years. I know people 2 years on the platform that are not at 800 subscribers yet.
Thanks, James.
And you've only been on the platform for about 3 months, and you're already almost to monetization.
Well, my watch hours would say otherwise, but I'm working on it.
Hey, just keep doing what you're doing, and that's going up. That should be going up with your live streams. I know with mine, when I started live streaming regularly, my watch hours tremendously went up. And then one of the things that I would recommend with yours, and I know you do it sometimes and you don't do it at others, because I've been watching your live streams, but do more structure to your live streams and kind of plan out an overall structure of every live stream. This is the kind of the plan I'm going to follow, but then have a specific structure for, like I have in mine, I have an educational section where we're going to teach. Then I have Q&A section, and I have, just general fun and chit chat with the audience. And I have this structure set up in my live streams. By structuring it like that, and especially having that teaching part at the very beginning, you're going to keep better watch time on your live stream for the replay. It gives it replay value, and it's going to keep people engaged. And then some reason, crazy enough, I don't understand this one, but some of my most popular live streams are my past auctions. And I don't understand that, because who wants to see stuff that's not up for sale today? This was stuff that we sold months ago, but we're going to watch the live stream. I'm getting insane replay value on some of those. I mean, people sitting through an auction I did months ago and watching it for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I surprisingly get people watching my lives afterwards. And I think, your advice is very good for an educational channel. And sometimes I'm educational. I talk about beekeeping and stuff, and I'm going to be doing more of that this winter. But, the point of my live streams is to build my community, make my friends, and build that fan base, the true fan base that are like super stoked to watch any single video that you put out. And, for I think the homesteading community, that's very important. And then you can also have educational value as well.
Yeah.
But
well, it's not just, I mean, part of my audience is part of my profile for my ideal audience is educational YouTubers. So I speak specifically to them. But even for entertainment channels, it doesn't have to be education. I do teaching because I'm an educator, but it doesn't have to be. It could be, but you have a set structure to your live stream, whether you're entertaining or, like I have a friend of mine who does their own YouTube channel in the storage auction business. They're purely an entertainment based channel. They're not really there to educate people on how to do storage units. They're just entertaining, but they have they're the ones that taught this to me. They have a set structure for their live streams. And so they have a section here, then they do their mail call section. And it's, they're like, their first part is kind of teasing people about their past videos, answering maybe some questions people had about what they found in their last units or whatever, and then teasing their next videos that are coming up in the next week, so that they
Very
have
good advice.
some advice. That
I'm
they're
gonna bring this
engaging the
back.
audience, they're answering questions from the audience, but they're also, kind of teasing the upcoming content to keep people engaged in what's coming next.
Of course. And that's very good advice. But let's bring it back to because I know you and I can talk about this stuff all day long, and we should sometimes, but let's bring it back to our original intent, right? So this, this new change can impact the new change of them putting ads on small channels can negatively impact. Of course, any change can negatively impact someone. But what it comes down to is you deal with it and adapt, or you find somewhere else to go.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
Oh, I agree. And there's a lot of people that are not going to adapt and they're going to struggle. And this comes down to, I think, part of it is your mindset. I think 90% of success in anything in life, including YouTube, is going to be your mindset and how you think about it. And what you focus on determines your efforts, because it's going to determine your actions. So it's going to determine the results you get.
Right.
And so
Exactly.
if you focus on how is this going to hurt my channel and you're going to take action on that, you might not post as much content because you're afraid of it hurting your channel and hurting that piece of content. So you're going to be more hesitant to put out. But if you think of it as a benefit and you focus on how you can improve through this and help you grow as a channel, I think you're going to see more growth. That's my personal opinion.
And something that vidIQ brought up today, and this is a theory, and it would be a cool thing in our analytics, and it probably won't happen, but it would be cool if YouTube showed us, once they start putting ads on our videos, and we're not monetized yet, it would be cool to show us the possibility of how much our videos could make us in the analytics, so that it could be some sort of push for us to make better content and more content. And I think it would be motivational for some people, but that probably won't happen. They probably don't want to delve out all that information.
Yep. And I agree with that. I think that they may even give us more information in analytics. This is one of the questions some people have asked, actually. Are they going to give us any analytics data on how those ads are performing on our channel? And that would be something that could help us to understand where our videos are going if they give us more data. Again, this is also new. And anytime something new comes out, there's going to be changes to the system. We've been testing shorts. You've been testing it. I've been testing it. We're seeing different results. And the thing is even in just a few weeks it's been out, there's been changes to how it's working. Right. And it's going to continue to change as they hone in and really clarify how the system's going to work. And the same is going to be true with this new ad system. It's going to be changes over in the coming weeks, coming months, as they test it, as they get more data from how things are working with channels, as they get more feedback from us as creators, because they actually do listen to creator feedback a lot in how they handle situations that are going on the platform. That doesn't mean they always do what we want them to, but they do listen to our feedback. So as they get that feedback and they get feedback from the audience and the viewers, which is their number one priority, they're going to be adjusting how this works.
Right. And they just came out with just a couple days ago, yesterday or the day before, there is a new analytic in your analytics. You can now view in your analytics where there's dips, and it will show you a list of videos that has these dips. It will show the information or the data on how many people stay through the beginning, like the first 40 seconds or something. It'll show how many drop off, and then you can click on that and it'll show you your top 5 videos or whatever of people who stayed through your beginning. And I think that's a very valuable analytic. If you guys are not checking your analytics and you want to grow your channel, I think you're severely missing out on a lot of information that is valuable.
Absolutely. Because if you really want to grow your channel, you've got to understand your analytics, because it's going to tell you 90% of the people I review and I talk to about their channel and why it's not growing, they have no idea how to read their analytics. That's why it was one of my next topics I was going to cover, because it's that important. And it's the one thing that a lot of people are missing. They don't understand how to interpret the data the analytics are giving them. But you have really, and people are focusing on the wrong things. I think in a lot of things, a lot of people are like,
Mhm.
I'm not getting subscribers, so my channel is not doing well. Well, I've had videos that had lots of views, but very few subscribers. It's not just subscriber numbers that matter. I mean,
Right.
we, those of us that have been around know this. Subscriber count past your 10,000 subscribers when all the features inside of YouTube are unlocked really don't matter. And this is something actually it touches on another question that people have been asking a lot. Is this going to change the threshold for monetization or the rules for
Oh,
monetization
put it back.
and joining the partner program? We don't know. They haven't said anything about a change, but I think if they're getting more feedback about this, I think that they may need to change the threshold or change the rules completely, which happened 4 years ago when they set the current rules. Um, those of you that were around that long, I don't know very many of us that were around
Me.
on YouTube 4 years ago, but they could be changing the rules for monetization and for joining the partner program through this change. What do you think?
Here's a theory. I'm not sure about like what kind of changes they could make now, but here's a theory. If you don't want ads on your content, maybe you must reach the threshold for monetization so you could turn off ads. And that brought me around to think about how if you don't want ads, you pay for the YouTube premium or whatever it's called, and then you don't see ads, or you learn how to use an ad blocker, and stuff like that. But maybe this is a way for people to remove ads from
Yeah.
which actually makes more sense to me, as right now, since they host everything for free and they do the pushing of everything for us outside of what we can do outside of it. But this makes more sense to me. Why haven't they in the past, uh, more reliably, been putting ads on our stuff as a way to pay for our, space that we're taking up on the internet? So maybe that's something that's coming. I don't know.
It might be. And it could be I've seen some people mentioning, is this really just going to try to push viewers more to join the premium program so they can turn ads off? And that could be a possibility. And that could be they may be trying to increase that subscribership because again, YouTube's a business. They offer
Mhm.
it for free to us to post our content. They offer free for the viewers to view the content, but if the viewers want to see it ad free, they have to join the premium membership for YouTube. And that could be part of what's driving this is to try to drive more people into the premium service so that more people are turning ads off. But the thing
And
is
what is that?
honestly,
That is
yeah,
diversifying their income.
yeah, it's you know, YouTube has diversified. They have multiple streams of income for YouTube. And they continue to come up with new ways to do that. Is it going to hurt YouTube overall? I don't really think so. I think it's going to benefit as people adjust to it. People are going to get used to it. People are going, I mean, when Facebook started putting ads on Facebook feeds and stuff, everybody freaked out. Everybody said, oh, Facebook's dead. Nobody's ever going to use Facebook again because they're putting ads on it. And guess what? The viewership adapted.
Yep. So I have a
People
question
are
for you.
very adaptable to change. People freak out when a change happens, but people adapt to change. And the faster you can adapt as a creator, the more you're going to be able to flow with those changes and be able to take advantage of the opportunities with the changes instead of being destroyed by the changes. That's what's going to hurt the channels is the channels that don't adapt, the channels that just keep trying to do the same old
Right.
and try
Eh,
to stay with the old way of doing things. I think it may change how we do content to a degree. Again, I brought this up earlier. I think you're going to have to work on being more compelling with your titles, more compelling to keep viewers setting in your videos. But you would need to do that by the time you reach monetization threshold anyway, in order to bypass that. I mean, everything that you would have to change because of these ads are things you would have to change if you got monetized anyway.
Right.
To keep those viewers watching your videos, you want to make sure that that's super compelling to keep people on. And we brought this up earlier. Are they going to be clickable ads where they can skip it or not? We don't know. I can tell you the ones I've seen it happening on it, they've all been skippable, but that doesn't mean that's all they're showing.
Right.
That's just what I've personally observed. And
like Brian G. Johnson, he says we're either moving forward or we're not. So if you don't want to deal with this change, if you don't want to adapt, maybe this isn't the right platform for you, and that's okay. That's fine. If you don't want to continue, that's fine. It's just,
if you don't want to keep with YouTube, that's fine. But I just caution people about leaving a platform just because of the change. Because if you're just leaving a platform and going to another platform, guess what? They're going to make changes too. Everywhere you go, there's going to be changes.
They're going to follow whatever the successful model is, and it's probably YouTube.
And as the technology changes, as the technologies grow, they're going to constantly change. As they learn more about their viewers and what their viewers want, they're going to test new things. They're going to change. Every model changes. Are those changes going to be for the better or the worse? Only time will tell. You try to predict as much as you can, but we all do that. I mean, I've been running businesses for several years. In every business I've had, I've made changes that really helped my business, and I've made channels that destroyed my business. You never know. You have to test. You have to be willing to fail in order to try. And if you're not willing to fail, you're going to struggle because you're not going to push your boundaries. You're not going to push what's comfortable for you, because you have to be willing to step outside of comfort zone in order to really grow and expand.
Yeah. So I
had to step outside of my comfort zone to go from recorded videos to live streams. And now I love live streams. I love live streaming more than doing recorded videos, but I had to really step outside of my comfort zone to start live streaming.
Let's lighten this up a little bit, James. So we're down to, we got about 8 minutes before we're at an hour. And so being who we are, we've taken the time the last 2 days since we heard about this, and we looked at a bunch of forums, we watched a bunch of videos, and we're looking at people's comments. What is the most, I have one that I've seen, what's the most ridiculous comment you've seen about this change?
The most ridiculous comment is that our channels are never going to get views again, and we're going to be there's absolutely no reason to start or keep creating content. It's absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've seen, and I've seen it time and time again. I saw it probably posted about 20 or 30 times in Daniel Batal's live stream just a little bit ago. It was being said in Nick Nimmin's live. People were just so freaked out that they're like, there's no way we will ever be able to grow. And that's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I actually replied to someone. I have my own comment, and I'll come to that in a second. But I actually replied to someone. They're like, I can't get subscribers, and this is going to prevent me from getting subscribers. It's going to make it even harder. But you know what, dude? You've been on the platform for how long? And you have 200 subs. How on earth was I to get quadruple the amount of subs in 2 months? And you only have 200. So you have to change something. If that's a problem for you, you have to change what you're doing. And once you realize that, if you realize your goals and what you want out of YouTube, the changes are going to be more clear of what you want to do. And it's just like, don't blame it's not the algorithm. The algorithm is not a sentient being. Like the algorithm isn't making choices on yours or not to share. It's just doing what it's told.
Oh, exactly. I agree 100% with what you're saying. I mean, I've said this in several of my videos. The one thing that I did that really started making my channels successful across the platform on all of my channels is taking responsibility for everything, the success and failure of every video, and saying, if this video is failing, is because I did something wrong. And it could be in my
Right.
title, it could be in my keyword. And really, that's when you start diving into analytics and saying, okay, where is this not performing well? What is it in my performance that's not working? Okay, what could I have done better to change this? What could I do better in the next video? Sometimes it's been in my title and thumbnail. That's shush.
Oh,
That's something that I had to take responsibility for, but it also allowed me the opportunity. Then, okay, if it's my title and thumbnail, I can fix that. I can go in and redo my title. I can redo my thumbnail. Now, if it's
right.
something in the actual presentation of the video, the only way I can change it is fix it in my next video. I can't go back and re-edit that video. Well, you
Right.
can in the studio, but it's really difficult with this YouTube editor to actually edit something out that was really screwing up your video. You can do it though if you really want to see if that video performs better. And it was something like having those long intros. I could go into my old videos if I thought they were good enough and it was just the intros that were killing the performance of them. I could go into my old videos and edit those intros out.
Right. So
Um,
I
I
want to
think it
address
was
some
more
of the
than just the
comments.
intros. I think the intros is part of the problem. I don't think it was just the intros, which is why I'm not bothering to do it. I'm just trying to change the strategy I'm using moving forward instead of going back and fixing all my old content. But that's the key thing is adapting, looking at what's working and what's not, and being adaptable and changing your strategy and changing your content moving forward, and maybe making some adjustments on your past content if you think it could perform better.
So I want to address some comments that we got here.
Yeah.
Wonderland Acre said that I can see where people who would be mad because they're looking at it as money that they're not getting. But you know what? YouTube is not it's not YouTube's job to pay you. It's just a benefit that you might get if you work hard enough. Additionally, we have my friend Josh from Homestead Overland who came in. Hi, Josh. How are you? If you are interested in learning more about this, I would totally recommend watching this stream from the beginning. We talk a lot about what we think is happening and what sort of negative impacts this might have, but mostly we don't see it as a negative. We see it as, just something that we have to deal with. And yes, I agree with Iris's comment as well. If they put ads on videos of ours, it's probably a compliment because they think we're going to make them money. And then I just wanted to say what my most ridiculous comment I've seen was someone said this was slave labor because they're putting ads on my content.
Oh, I saw that.
And I was just like, you are ridiculous. It is not slave labor. No one is holding a gun against your head and making you stay on the YouTube platform. Have a great day.
Nobody forces you to create content. Nobody is forcing you to make videos for YouTube or to post them on YouTube or to be exclusive to YouTube. You're not a slave to YouTube. You are free to go to Instagram. You're free to go to Facebook. You're free to go to your own website. One of the things that I told people in yesterday's video, because I was doing content creation and I started YouTube that's why my other channel never got views or subscribers really. My entire purpose for posting on YouTube originally was a free hosting platform for my video content that I was embedding on my blogs, and I was sending all the traffic to my blogs and websites,
Right.
not to YouTube. I did absolutely nothing to promote my videos on YouTube or that channel. And
Right.
it's still free because I was online back then. And I tell you, the other platforms for hosting your videos charged you for hosting your videos because there's bandwidth fees, there's, server space, there's a lot of costs to hosting and playing videos. It's not free for them, but it's a
No.
free service for us that's not costing us anything. So they have the right, and they've always had the right to put ads anywhere they want to on their platform. They've chosen not to do it up until now.
Exactly. And do
Uh,
remember, people, that if you are not paying for something, you are the product. They're gathering
mhm.
data from what your videos are posting, what videos are drawing people's interest, what videos are keeping people addicted to YouTube. You are the product when you are not paying for a service.
Yeah.
Just remember
And
that,
see,
because
as much as we talk about YouTube viewers being their primary concern, YouTube's a business and the viewers aren't paying for it either. You know who they're
right.
being paid by? Those advertisers. That's the customers of YouTube because they're the ones paying YouTube for the viewers. They're paying YouTube for content to put their ads on. They're paying YouTube as content creators and as viewers. We are the product they are serving to advertisers. Whether
All
you
of our
like that,
data that we create.
because the advertisers are the ones paying the bills. So that's
Right.
who YouTube is serving the most.
Exactly. And that's okay. That's just YouTube's platform. That's how they're making
That's
money.
just
And
a
I have no
business model,
problem with
y'all.
that.
It's not saying anything bad about YouTube. That's just their business model. Facebook is the same business model. Instagram is the same business model. Their viewers and their creators on those platforms are the customers they're serving to the advertisers who's paying their bills.
Exactly. And you
Because
know
at
what?
the end of the day, they're a business and
And they don't owe us anything. They don't owe you anything.
no, they don't. If you want to be completely free of anybody else telling you what to do or how they treat your content, build your own website. But there's a lot of costs to that. You don't have traffic to your website. You're going to have to spend a ton of time or money or both to get people to view your website. Because I can tell you, if you build it, they don't just show up.
No,
You know,
they
the
don't.
reason we use platforms like YouTube and the reason I put more effort into growing my viewership on YouTube, because I am building my own website, by the way. It's behind the scenes and haven't published it yet, but I'm working on it behind the scenes already. But the reason why we do our own websites is because we don't want YouTube. If we have to platform, if we have to shift, I want a platform where my audience is following me. And so that if I make a pivot and if I go somewhere else to do my content, it's going to go elsewhere and it's easy to do that. But at the same time, YouTube has the viewers, YouTube has the audience already built in. And they give
Yeah.
you that audience. It's not just a place to host your videos. They give you an audience that you can reach. And I can tell you, I built a blog to over 1,000 subscribers. It took me almost 5 years to do it. You can do it on YouTube in less than a year if you do it the right way,
Hmm.
if you hit all the stuff. But when you have your own website, you have zero traffic. You've got to work on getting search rankings. You've got to get those followings out on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And then you have to convince those people to leave the platform and go to your website. And one of the first things we tell you in social media marketing of any kind is keep people on the platform they're on. Don't send them somewhere else. But I'm telling you, you want to keep them on the platform most of the time, but occasionally send them to your own website.
Right. I think the biggest takeaway that we as small creators, even big creators, need to remember is that YouTube could go away tomorrow. Back up your
Mhm.
stuff. Make sure your videos are saved someplace else so that when YouTube disables your account for whatever reason, because it's not difficult to have that happen, and the algorithm does make mistakes, make sure your stuff is backed up. Make sure you're getting your audience's email addresses. Make sure you have someplace else for them to go. If you're someone who's wanting to monetize and make a business out of whatever you're doing on the internet, you gotta back up your stuff. And then the other thing is just that it's not we don't own YouTube. It's not up to us what they do.
Yep. And that is absolutely true. Sony's Place came in. Hello, Sony's Place. Thank you for joining us today. This has been an awesome discussion, and I'd like to see if anybody in the chat is having some questions we haven't addressed yet. I would like y'all to leave your questions in that chat, and if you're coming to the video on a replay, leave questions down in the comments and let us know what your questions are about these changes that are coming up and how it's going to affect the channel if it's a question we haven't already addressed.
Yeah.
These are some things that are really important. One of the questions that some people have asked um,
And
is
I'll be right back.
okay. And one of the questions that we kind of talked about a little bit already is, are these just going to be ads that are on the beginning of your content, or they're going to be mid-roll ads? I can tell you from the ones I've observed and the one I've been watching, these ads are mainly just showing up as beginning ads on the videos, not mid-rolls. But that doesn't mean that they can't. They can put ads anywhere they want in your content, and you have no control over that. One of the things that I talk about all the time, and I really want y'all to understand this, and I really want you to connect with this, is focus on the things you can control. You don't have any control over what YouTube's doing with these ads. You don't have any control over whether they're going to show up on your videos or not. You can't control how compelling your content is. You can't control how much you're engaging your audience and how much you're improving that engagement every time you put out a new video. You can control whether you get people to like and share your videos. You can control whether you are engaging that audience in a way that makes them want to come back for more. You can control that. You might have to develop the skills to control it, but you can control it. You have those abilities. You just have to learn the skills to do it. And you have to be willing to learn the skills to do it. You can't control what YouTube's going to do with your content. You can't control if YouTube decides to delete your content tomorrow, which is what we were just talking about. But you can control how you make that content so that you can encourage more people to want to view. And honestly, if you've got a lot of people wanting to view your content, YouTube has no reason to delete your content. As long as this is where some channels get into driving controversy a lot. I don't agree with it. I understand it because it drives lots and lots of views, but it also puts you on a balancing act of YouTube can slap you down with a simple change of their rules. And I've seen that happen. A lot of the high controversy channels, when they make a change, they decide that that controversy is no longer acceptable because it's not politically correct. Bam, there you go.
Yeah. Something Wonderland Acres has a worry about is that they're concerned about what might happen if the ad owners, the companies that are putting ads, might get upset about certain content it might be placed on. I don't think that's going to be a concern because already, once we're monetized, ad companies are saying, I don't want to be placed on content like this. I don't think
Yep.
I should be placed on content that has people cursing, stuff like that. So I really don't think
Yeah,
that's
that filters
at
are
all. It's
already
only
in place before the ads ever get placed on your content.
exactly. It's
Because
all
that's already set up in the partner program. That's already set up in their original system the way it's set up. And it's just a matter of really the only difference between what's in the partner program and what's this is what size are the channels these ads are being placed on. But as far as your keywords, your tags, using those profanity filters, if you have that kind of content, is this a content made for children? Those things are going to be really, really important to small channels, and most small channels have been ignoring it up to now.
Mhm.
I think it's maybe another part of that too is a lot of channels are thinking, oh, well, copyright claims don't matter because I don't have ads on my channel. Guess what? I think this is going to copy a lot of those things that a lot of people think because I'm not in the partner program, it doesn't matter. Those attitudes are going to have to change because those things do matter, and those things are going to matter moving forward.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I'm so outside of YouTube and stuff, personally I've been a creative my whole life. I've made art, I've learned about art, I've taken art classes, stuff like that. Copyright is always a problem. Just like Iris Collins says, it's always an issue. You don't want to be stealing other people's stuff. Just because it's online does not make it free. It does not make it yours to take and put in your videos. It doesn't make it yours to take and draw or sell. This is uh this is the biggest thing as a creative person I've learned. You can't just take other people's stuff just because it's online. It does not make it free. But there are services. There are services that you can go to, like for example, Pixabay, and you can use a picture that is called free use content that you can use in any means you like, and you can make money from it. But so there's
it's
ways
called
around
Creative
that. But you've
Commons and
got
it's
to do it
published
right.
with the rights to publish it.
Yes, I
Yeah,
do know
and
what you're worried
Wonderland
about,
says,
Wonderland.
"I'm sure Adrienne knows what content I'm worried about on my channel." So,
And you know what?
and
Wonderland Acres with oh, sorry. With her, I'm sure you haven't seen her channel, but with her stuff, we're homesteaders. She, talks about butchering animals and stuff. And yes, there's a possibility that, and it's likely that those videos will not be monetized. But that doesn't mean that your other videos may not be monetized.
well, and it's also it may direct certain types of it. It also you have to realize that with that kind of content filters, it's not saying they won't monetize at all, but there's only certain types of advertisers that will advertise on that content. So you'll probably have a lower CPM, you'll have less ads showing up and more specific ads showing up because they're okay with showing up on that kind of content. Um, and so it kind of shrinks the pool of advertisers who are able to monetize on your channel, but it doesn't completely keep it from being monetized at all. And that's something that's already been seen in the partner program. So it's just, how is that going to interact on smaller channels? And honestly, if you're driving lots of views to that content, it might still get ads showing up. If because some of those videos might still get hundreds, thousands, millions of views on them because it has that potential for explosive growth, it could still get there.
Right. And they might just put
Oh yeah,
a
they
filter on
they
it that
they are
says
very
adult.
specific on where they're putting these ads.
Yeah. I don't think that's a worry at all. So I I think that people, and I'm not saying you Wonderland Acres, I'm saying people in general. They forget that YouTube knows what they're doing. They've been doing this for 15 years. They understand it and they get it. And if this turns out to be a negative for them, they're going to change it. They're not,
Yeah.
they're not going to continue. They don't want to hurt the bottom line because they're about money, because they're a business and every business is about money. So that's just the way it is. I wouldn't worry too
Yeah, I
much.
mean, they could change it back tomorrow and say, "You know what? We're," but they haven't. And again, it's you got to read the wording of what it says. It says we reserve the right to put ads on any piece of content. It doesn't mean they're going to put ads on every piece of content, but they've
Right.
always had that right. They're just now stating it in their terms of service that they have the right. It's their website. They could put ads on every piece of content. When I was blogging 10 years ago, I used to have guest posters on my blog. And I guarantee you, every single one of their blog posts, I had ads in that blog post and I was making money off of that. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're a guest on their platform, but they have the right to advertise on that content on their platform. That's all
Exactly.
that's happening. I guess because I've been on the other side of that, I've hosted other people's content on my blogs, on my websites. I made money from doing that. It was a great way for me to get a lot of content. I got a lot of traffic to my channel from other people driving traffic to my blogs, and I was making money from people buying through my ads.
And back in the day when I blogged too, I was gathering other bloggers in my same niche, and they were putting $5 a month ads on my content. I
Mhm.
would just put their little logo over there, and they pay me $5 a month or whatever, and that they're just gonna do what they're gonna do, and it's whatever, and the people who leave, they've given up already. The people who are upset about this right now, they've given up. They don't see this as another challenge. This is an overcomable challenge, and it's okay. And we're gonna be fine as long as you keep on keeping on, better your content, and it's gonna be okay. That's just it.
Yeah. Let's just keep improving, keep moving forward, and focus on how we can grow as a community and grow and help each other continue to improve everything that we're doing. I believe in the power of community. That's why I love doing live streaming. That's why I love doing this. Is another question, by the way, is a lot of people have said, well, if they're putting these ads on recorded videos, are we going to see a surge in live streams? Because they'll probably only be putting those ads on live streams on the replay, not during the initial live stream. And that's a possibility too. I've already seen several people saying that live stream is the direction it's going anyway. And you're going to start seeing more and more. We saw it this year with so many people stuck at home, not getting out. There's been a huge surge, especially in certain niches. I know we saw it in the reselling niche. I know y'all have seen it. That's part of why you've grown up as fast as you have, I think. There was a huge surge in live streaming in certain niches here on YouTube in the last year because of the lockdowns and everything that's gone on. We're talking about things headed towards another lockdown right now. I know here we just were watching the news this morning and they're really getting close to going on lockdown here in Texas again.
We did yesterday. Starting yesterday, we went on lockdown.
See, a lot of places across the country are either going back on lockdown or it's a very serious discussion right now. So we need to, as creators, be realizing we need to be serving the people that are bored at home. This is why entertainment is so important right now, too. The more entertaining you can be, not just educators, I think educators have had some growth as well. Especially on certain topics like people that are at home trying to figure out how to make money. If you know how to make money through anything that you do at home, which as homesteaders you do, as resellers, that's what we do as YouTubers. And why? Guess what? We're making money from home as YouTubers. Be teaching people how to do those things, and those things are exploding right now. Um, because we're going back on a lockdown. And this is why I did, if you didn't catch my live stream a few weeks ago, where we talked about setting yourself up for the traffic that's coming with this new lockdown, make sure you check that out and optimize your channel properly to capture those people that are coming in. But the point I was trying to make is I think live streaming is going to explode in the next few months and in the next year. And this may help because more and more people are going to want to do live streams, because as you're coming into the live streams during the live itself, you're not going to see the ads. You're not going to see.
If you're monetized, you can actually put ads on. At least I know that you can put ads on the very beginning because
Yeah.
I've been in some. So you
But
can at
you're
least
not
put
going to
ads on
see
the
them
beginning
dotted
and
throughout the mid rolls and in the middle of your live streams. It's just going to be like at the very beginning, you'll have one. But the other thing is YouTube catching the live streams upcoming to put those ads on them, or are they going to be catching them on the replay? That's something we don't know yet. But a lot of people are thinking they may do more live streaming to avoid those ads during the initial production. I don't know if it's going to, eventually they're going to catch up. I don't know if they're going to start there, but I think eventually they're going to catch up to where those initial ads are showing up just like on monetized channels, but they may not be there yet.
Right. It's all unknown. We just have to, buckle up and ride and see what happens. And I think, those who are serious about YouTube, they're going to do fine.
Yeah. And I think that's the number one key. I think a couple of the key takeaways that we can have here. I want to go ahead and wrap it up. We've been on here for a little over an hour, but I wanted to go just through a few key takeaways. One is focus on what you control. I've talked about that time and time again. One of the things you've mentioned right now, honestly, 90% of what we're hearing, not only from us, but from other channels, is opinion and, what we're seeing based on our own experience. We don't know where this is going to go. Doesn't even know how this is going to work out. They're still learning, they're still going and tweaking it out. So just be patient and be willing to adapt whatever comes your way. That's the number one key that we can take away from this, is just adapting to the change going on. And what is a couple of the key takeaways that you see from what we've been talking about, Adrienne?
Mostly just that, YouTube is a business. They're here to make money. They're not going to do something that's going to hurt their bottom line. And I think maybe to look at it in a way that if they put ads on your stuff, that could be a good thing. It could mean you're going in the right direction. Take it as a compliment, like Iris said earlier, and, be like, I'm doing something right. And it could be, it could be really good motivation for you to continue on.
Yep. I absolutely agree with you. And I think that this is one of the biggest things. Just take it as an opportunity to improve, an opportunity to grow, and an opportunity that if YouTube thinks your content is worthy of putting ads on, again, one of the things that we mentioned earlier, and I think this is a key point to remember, YouTube is pushing content with ads more than content without. So if they're putting ads on your content, they think it's worth them being able to push it more. So you might grow better by having these ads on your channel. I think it's an opportunity, and a lot of people are taking it as a disadvantage, but I think there's a lot of opportunity in this change that's going on for small YouTubers. So really keep that in mind. If there's not any other questions, or do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I know people are worried about what their viewers are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
The viewers who love you are going to stay. They're going to go through, they're going to watch the ads. They're just going to stay. And the viewers who don't, they're not viewers for your channel. You know, that's just it. And don't be worried about the viewers who leave, because they're going to leave no matter what. And I think most viewers are going to understand that this is a YouTube thing. This is not a you thing.
Yeah. And think about this. If they're going to leave because YouTube started putting ads on your videos, they were probably going to leave when you get to monetization anyway, and you start putting ads on your videos. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's a fine line of when do you start monetizing your channel, whether it's with ad revenue or even just outside of ad revenue. You know, I'm looking into brand deals and affiliate marketing. If you notice, I mean, I don't know if anybody reads the descriptions on my videos. I know some people do. Uh, I have affiliate ads in every single description that I have. I have affiliate links to every single the tools I use, the computer I use, the microphones I use. I have affiliate links to all of those. I don't push it, but it's available in every single video I publish. Um, and that's an important thing is, you know, think about outside of YouTube partner program. When do you start monetizing your channel? I see a lot of channels that are at my level, 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers, already monetizing their channel. Already, I mean, when I was at 250 subscribers, I started running auctions on my storage scavenger channel. It's my main monetization model for that channel. It's a monetization model that's not taught frequently, but it's how I monetize that channel. It doesn't make a ton of money, just like any other monetization strategy. The more I grow, the more that monetization is going to make me. But that's how I monetize that channel. I'm also, you know, looking into for this channel, I'm looking at brand deals, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what subscriber numbers is it viable that I can start getting some brand deals with this channel, because I am planning on monetizing this channel that way. So think about what you can do besides just ads, and when would you incorporate that into your business model. And so then these ads showing up really don't matter, because you're already monetizing yourself in other ways.
And I think just remember that, you know, this people who are here watching this right now, those 5 people still in the chat, we're likely all working towards monetization. This change is not going to affect us once we're monetized. It's not going to be
Nope.
any different. And just, I think the final thing I'd like to see is adapt, overcome, and continue to be amazing.
Yep. Continue to grow, continue to build engagement. The three core things, the reason why I title my channel the way I do and the way I focused it is engagement is one of the number one things you need to be able to do with your channel. If you're doing engaging content, if you're optimizing it properly, and if you're building your channel by constantly putting out and being consistent with putting out your content, you're going to be able to survive this, and you're going to grow through it, and you're going to adapt to it. So build your channel, continue that consistent engagement, create more and more engagement with your audience, and optimize everything to capture the most that you can. If you do those 3 things, you're going to have a successful YouTube channel. And thank you so much for joining me, Adrienne. This has been fun getting to chat with you and get a different perspective. And I'd love to have you back on again sometime. Those of you who didn't already, if you don't know, or if you're watching this on the replay, it's in the description. And it's also over here in the live chat replay. On the pinned comment is a link to Adrienne's channel. Make sure y'all check her out. She's got some really cool videos. She's doing some great tests with the shorts feature. She's had some great results with that. One of my favorite videos on your channel is the bee takeoff. That was epic. And it was an amazing
Thanks.
short, few seconds long, this beautiful bee. But y'all need to check that out and check out her channel as well. She's got some great videos on homesteading, but she's also a great example of what really works. She's blown up her channel very, very quickly right here since she started her YouTube journey. So thank you guys for joining us today. I hope that y'all have had a great day, and we are going to see you next time.
Thanks so much, James.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.